Hi, today I want to show you how to make this animation right here in Nordcraft. So here we are in Nordcraft and we're in a clean project, except we've got this button swap, and we can see when I click that it toggles between back and front. It's tied to this swap variable, so we can see when front is shown then it's not swapped. That's what we call it here, right? So let's add some playing cards. I'm gonna just add a div. In this case, I'm going to give it a width of 150 and a height of 200 pixels, and we're going to give it a border radius of 8, I think. Then we'll add a border of, I think, 10 pixels and white. Right, so we get this little almost shape, right? Like almost playing card with a dark background. Let's give it a background. I think we're going to do a gradient in this case because we have a nice gradient editor. So we'll do green, blue, green. 400. Actually, that looks pretty good. Going into a green 600. We're going to keep it subtle, right? So we have these nice green backgrounds on our playing cards, right? The next thing I'll add is a div inside. This is going to be the face of the card. I want that to be 100% by 100%. And I want it to be white. Whoops. So it looks like the front of a card. And I'm just going to grab an icon from in here. We have a heart. I think a heart is a good call. Copy that SVG. Paste it in here, import. We'll center it. We're gonna make it twice as large by 48 by 48. And then we're gonna say fill current color, which basically says fill the SVG as well as the stroke, right? And then here we can just set the color. So whenever you use current color, it picks the text color of that element. So in this case, if we say red, let's say 600. It did not do that. Let's try again. Did I misspell current color? Yeah, we said current color. There we are. So now we have a red heart on our playing card, right? It's going to be the same of all of them. Always, if you were doing this, you could put whatever you want on the face of these playing cards, right? But that works. If I click to back, I would expect to see the back of the playing card, right? So what we're doing now is saying back means that swap is true. So we're going to add a class to this playing card that's called back. And that's going to be swap, right? So whenever the playing card is swapped, we're going to show the back. On the styling, we'll add a new class. We'll style this back class. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say transform. I'm going to rotate along the y-axis. Y is the up and down axis, 180 degrees. Right. And the interesting thing you'll notice is that looked like it did absolutely nothing. Like it did actually rotate it, but it does look like it did nothing, right? And the reason for that is that CSS is not actually built to be a 3D styling system out of the box. All that was added later, and therefore you sometimes have to tell it some otherwise obvious things. So in this case, we have to tell it that this thing that is, because they're actually like, the divs aren't technically on top of each other. They're literally on the same plane. So we have to tell this one to not have a background. And the way you do that is you add back face visibility of hidden. So that actually tells this one that when you look at the background, you shouldn't see it. At the same time, we want to tell this one that when you are transforming, which we're doing with the back, your transform style should be preserve 3 dimensions. So those two things have to be in place. Otherwise, it doesn't like doing this little swap that it's doing here, right? Obviously, this doesn't animate, so let's go and add that. We're not going to use our animation editor today because while we absolutely love it, it's about picking the right tool for the right job. And in this case, since we're alternating between two states, transitions are a better option, right? So we're going to say transition, and we're going to say all in this case because it's faster. Let's say 500 milliseconds. And yeah, that's pretty good. Let's try that. That's a pretty nice flip animation, right? I'm liking it. So that was all pretty basic. That actually didn't require any like programming logic of any kind, right? Obviously we have the back and front, but other than that, this is all just CSS set up in Nordcraft, right? The last bit is when we really start to encompass some of the power of Nordcraft into animation, right? Because we're adding more cards. So let's just repeat this. We'll do a range. I think 10 might be a bit too many. Maybe it's not. Maybe just do 0 to 8. That should give us 9 cards, right? That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. Let's give some padding on this one. Yeah, there we go. Right. Like it's still not fully properly responsive, but it's close enough for what we're demoing here, right? So now we have all these cards and they're all going to do this in exact unison, right? Now, but if we want to give that stagger effect, what we can actually do is we can make each of them delay their transition depending on the sort of number they are in the range, right? So I'm going to pick this div again, the one representing all of them. I'm going to add a style variable. I'm going to change that to, move myself. Whoops, there we are. Duration. And then we'll call it delay. And then we just take the index. So the index starts at 0 for the very first item. And then 1, 2, 3. It's kind of the offset in the list from the first position. That's the way you think of it. So the first item is index 0. The second is index 1. The third is index 2. It's super weird to begin with. Every programmer struggles with it at some point, but it does have some nice effects. Like if I, for example, in this case, say, take the index and multiply it by 100, it actually works out that the first one doesn't get any delay, the second gets 100, the third one gets 200, the fourth one gets 300, etc., which is exactly what we want. We don't want the whole thing to delayed. We just want it to stagger. And there's a lot of cases like this where it turns out having the first item be index 0 actually makes more sense than you think. So now we set the delay. We just need to add that down to our transition. So here in delay, I'm going to change that to a variable delay. So that'll now be different for every single card. Let's go and try this out. Here we are. Front, back, front again. So that was it. That's how you do it in Nordcraft. Try it out. I'll leave the link to the project in the description. If you haven't tried Nordcraft yet, give it a try. It's really fun to play around with, and it's a great way to learn about HTML technologies, like web technologies like HTML, CSS, etc. If you build something cool, please share it. It's kind of the best part of our job to see what people are building in Nordcraft. So please do share. Thank you.